Hi everyone. Uh, Here is a brand new video I'm going to make of the fires that have been raging throughout California. Um, Here in California, especially in my town, we only hear about the fires that are happening in California, but we don't hear about the fires that are going on in Oregon and Washington, Idaho, Utah, Colorado. I think this is Wyoming. I'm not quite sure what state this is, but this is a wide circle of enormous wildfires that seem to be sparking every single day at around the same time. And I'm going to explain what I believe may be the cause of the fires, despite the news claims that it's dry lightning, because as you can see, there has been no cloud cover over California, no cloud cover over Oregon or Washington or Idaho, and yet the fires spark all simultaneously and almost spontaneously. So I'm going to go ahead and slightly explain what I think is going on. So as everyone knows, that the California wildfires have been going on for quite a few days, if not a few weeks, I think. At least 2 weeks I know of. 3 weeks maybe, yes. And I wanted to remind everyone that the California coast is comprised of quite a few volcanic complexes called calderas. And right now I can't go into the specifics of the names of the calderas, but I know that there are volcanic processes that go on all over California. Here we have the Long Valley caldera, I believe. Mono Lake, I think, is here. And there are other calderas. And frankly, what I think is a major supervolcano is this entire Napa Valley. Basically, the Valley of California is surrounded by a mountain range that circulates almost like a slit down along the length of the state, and it just seems to be in this perimeter that the fires seem to be starting. And I'm going to explain a little bit about what I have been theorizing. First of all, out here in the ocean, I tend to look a lot at the behavior of the low-lying cloud cover, and we call that marine layer. But the behavior is not anything that I've seen before, and I think it behaves more like emitting gases that are rising through the ocean floor, possibly penetrating the entire crust, gases that are generating deep within the Earth's interior, and I would say mantle, or the transition zone, or I'm not a geophysicist. I have no idea what it looks like down there, but it's definitely gases that seem to be rising because of the behavior of the cloud formations. You can see it. It just looks very much like something is bubbling or rising out of the ocean and taking on these almost like little nodule formations. To me, that just looks like different density gas that rises and just settles along the surface of the ocean. That gas and all of those gases seem to be indicating an increase in pressure deep within the Earth. I think that pressure is pushing not only the gases, but water vapor, as we can see in these little cloud cumulonimbus cloud formations within the crust fissures. And I think all these mountain ranges are fissures that allow a lot of the gases and moisture penetrate through the crust. And I have noticed quite a few times that when I see these billowing little, looks like little billowing clouds that form right where a fire starts. In this case, these fires did not have the billowing, but I have a theory of why the clouds are not allowed to form here, and I have a feeling that it is artificial, prevented by military equipment. But anywhere else where you can see the gases coming through the crust here, there's quite a few. There should be a ton more, but we have military projects that are preventing water from accumulating. But the point is that deep within the earth, there is a process going on that is not something that the human race has seen in our modern times. Again, the fires, I believe, are caused by magma, heat, lava that is being pushed along with all these other gases to the surface due to an increase pressure and heat from deep within the Earth's crust, deep within the Earth at the core or mantle level. So when we look at the areas that are really starting to flare up with wildfires, it is surrounded in this general area, which is the Great Basin. And as we all know, we have Yellowstone somewhere up here, the Great Salt Lake here. And all of this is, in my opinion, a giant network of volcanic activity, which stretches all the way down to the volcanic complexes of Mexico. Not that they're connected in any way directly, but I believe that they share I believe they share a common source of lava. I mean, it's a very large planet, and these networks of volcanic fields or volcanic complexes, I assume, have to be connected in some way, because the activity that is happening here can be seen here and can be seen throughout Mexico, Central America, and all of the fires that are happening in Brazil appear to be behaving in the exact same way. The fire starting at the same time that the sun reaches its highest peak in the sky, which tells me that there is a possibility that whatever is sparking, that whatever is pulling the lava up to the surface is attracted to the solar polarity or magnetism, or it could be attracted to another planet or another body that is around the same position as the sun, possibly behind it, or it could be the sun itself. I really don't know, and it could be just solar ultraviolet radiation that is the attractive force. But whatever the force, it appears to the flare-ups appear to correlate with a certain position in the sun. I have seen the flare-ups at night. I'm not quite sure. I'm sure somebody has an explanation for it, but I have observed that, and I'm not quite sure what that's about. So looking again at the Great Basin, I'm going to go through a timeline or a time. Go through the timeline. This is September 3rd. Okay, evening. Here we see the chemtrails that are trying to dehydrate the rising moisture that comes through the crust. But I know that it's very clear to me that these chemtrails are meant to stop moisture from accumulating. These little ridges indicate to me a lot of frequencies that are being used to push the clouds, to steer the currents, basically to make it appear like the normal current is still going eastbound, the way it used to. But if it weren't for these frequencies, if it weren't for these antenna that were artificially moving the currents, I think our entire weather system would be so chaotic and so destructive that the whole world would be questioning or would be asking questions, what is really going on. But this is trying to keep as normal a weather pattern as possible. This also is a set of chemtrails that are probably going to dehydrate a lot of the moisture that emits from this area. As you will see, the flare-ups are occurring here in Idaho, Washington, Oregon. I believe this is Colorado here, Utah, New Mexico. What is this? New Mexico. And so these areas, here's the hot spots are the ones that are dark, little dark spots. Those are heat returns, which in infrared cameras you can see are picked up as dark spots. And so as I go through time, you'll see that during the day they don't really flare up that much, but that's probably the beginning of the fires. But it's not until the afternoon when they all start igniting with great vigor and just cover the entire Great Basin. And it does seem to be a circular pattern here. This area here caught fire right after cloud formation. So I'm going to zoom in on that part. So here is the Great Salt Lake City around here. I don't know what valley this is, but I just want to show you for the sake of an example. This area, as I go through time, shows 3 little fires that seem to be starting at the same location, but in this case you see the clouds flaring up there. It seems like there's a lot of cloud cover that precedes the fires, and so I'm assuming that it is a little pressure point there. Right here you see these are clouds, all that white fluffy stuff, and it is succeeded by fires after all of that, all of the clouds start pushing through. And so I also notice fires out here in the middle of the Midwest, Kansas, Nebraska, you name it. There is fire everywhere, and this is just phenomenal. I mean, you could see them occurring at the same time every day. And what I think it is probably the interior of the earth heating up and pushing out little tiny areas of magma. Here I just noticed a very huge plume of gases that just came up, and I'm not quite sure if it's going to be very noticeable on this film or on this video, but I will try to show it to you. So this is an area where gases and moisture are pushing through the crust. Same with this area. And as it moves down with the prevailing winds, I can see this almost like a boundary of what appears to be a gassy or some sort of something that is moving south, and it's not just cold air, because it appears to be originating here. So if I back out now and I start the movement again, It just seems it just seems very possible that it could be emanating from a very large fissure somewhere in this area. I see this area pushing thick, a very thick layer of something. It happens often. Here again, the layer seems to be pushing south. It pushes along the moisture clouds. I don't think it's just cold air, because frankly, right now the southern Canada is experiencing very high temperatures, record temperatures. There is a heat wave all throughout Canada, so it's not cold air. What it seems to me like is gases pushing through the crust. And as they come out of the crust, the prevailing winds, or the prevailing air current, which is artificially induced at this point, comes down south towards the mid section of the U.S. and then pushes east towards the northeast. And so this looks very, very obvious to me. Looks like some gas of some sort coming down. And as it pushes this way, the fire starts here, so I think the gas is still emitting all throughout this area. Okay, so that's it for now. I guess I don't have that much more to explain. I'm sure this was a very long video. I'm trying to explain a lot that I've been observing for the last 6 years now. I'm sure one video is not going to cover everything, but hopefully I just gave a little bit of an idea of what I have started theorizing in relation to our weather changes and cloud cover behavior. I hope you liked it. Thank you.